Hello, welcome back to the Beauty Novice. Today I'm going to be going over how to apply liquid foundation, and the next video will be how to apply powder foundation. The applications are definitely different, and I actually recommend liquid foundation to start out with for beginners. But I know when I was first starting to do makeup, my wedding was actually coming up a few months after I'd started learning how to do makeup, and my maid of honor she had worked for Bare Minerals for a little bit and said, "Hey, you should get Bare Minerals stuff and I'll do your makeup for you." And I had to figure out how to do powder foundation after that because I had a whole bunch of this stuff and I didn't want to let it go to waste. So, for those of you who may be in a similar situation or may have gotten gifted some powder foundation, that video will be up after this one. I think Tuesday? Yeah, next Tuesday. Anyway, let's get started with liquid foundation. So, pretty much, this is just Ulta's brand, Double Duty. This one comes with a primer already built in. You don't necessarily need a primer. If you put your moisturizer on first, that should be good enough. But if you notice that your foundation is falling off, you may want a primer in that situation, or if your skin's just getting super dry. And you do need primer for powder foundation because it's different, but for this, you usually don't need a primer, even for other brands. And there are a couple different ways you can apply it, mostly for tools. I like to use my fingers because I feel like I can get in there a little bit easier. But you can get brushes. Now, I don't have a specific foundation brush. You can get a couple different kinds. This is a kabuki brush. Now, I prefer kabuki brushes for your powders, particularly blushes and powder foundation, because it has a lot of bristles in it and it gets really in there. It can buff everything, but I feel like it'd be a pain in the butt to clean for liquid foundation. So I would not recommend getting a kabuki brush for your foundation necessarily. I would recommend getting something more like this. Something smaller actually would be preferable if you can. You'll get a little bit more control when you're going in there, going back underneath your eyes. This is actually my powder foundation brush. This is a little big, but you can still use this. You still have decent control. It's just a little bit larger. So if you can get a smaller brush. I know EcoTools has a really good one, and I mean pretty much any brand has foundation brushes. You just have to go with what you feel is going to be the best, and I personally think EcoTools is the best. I actually had an EcoTools foundation brush and I lost it. That's kind of why I started using my fingers, and I'm okay with that because it doesn't cost me anything else to use my fingers. I buy the foundation and I have my fingers. So let's get started on how to apply foundation. It's pretty simple actually. I like to apply my foundation after I've done my eye makeup. I put on lipstick today just so you could see a semi-complete look. I won't have blush on, but it'll be fairly close to being done. The reason I put my eye makeup on before I do my foundation is in case you get fallout from your eyeshadow. You don't have to worry about concealing after you've put your foundation on. So, you're just going to open up your foundation. Now, some people like to put it on the back of their wrists to put it on, or you can just put it on your finger. I don't mind putting it on my fingers. It's just a preference. People will put it on the back of their hands so that they can get a decent amount of product and scoop it up. A lot of times that's usually for if you have brushes. So I've got a decent squeeze of foundation. You're just going to put it on. Just put it on a couple key areas, and then you're just going to start to blend it in. And it's really, really simple. It mostly just takes a little, honestly, the hardest part is just getting it all on. But foundation's pretty simple. Now make sure you do your foundation after you've done your concealer, because it's a lot harder to conceal the spots the way you want to after your foundation is on. Because you can always apply more foundation, but it doesn't always work. Now, when you're going around your nose, make sure you get underneath your nose too. Because that is a thing you'll see in beauty magazines. It's like, oh, what is one of the complaints people, professionals will see, and it's people don't remember to go underneath their nose, because if you just look up a little bit, you'll see the pink of your nose, and it doesn't exactly look very put together. I'm just putting this, trying to get every little crevice, nook and cranny. And I know I need a little bit more on my cheek here. And be very light-handed when you pump out or squeeze out your foundation, or just like dump it out. I don't really know if that's the correct term, but in those ones where you can't pump it or squeeze it, you just kind of shake it into your hand. Be very careful and do it very sparingly, because you don't need a lot for your coverage. And you want to do one layer first, so you're not, putting too much on, and then you can always go back and add more. That's never a problem. But again, do the concealer first to properly conceal your problem areas. That'll save you a lot of time and effort, and you'll get a better look in the end. Don't put foundation on your eyebrows. You don't need to put foundation on your eyebrows. It makes them look messy, and without anything else on them, it can actually dry them out. I have some eyebrow pencil and some eyebrow powder on, and that's usually fine. But foundation, I found, can be very drying if you don't have moisturizer or a primer underneath. Okay, so what you're going to want to do, once you have the full application of it done, you're going to want to just go through and sort of wipe away any problem areas. And by problem areas, in this instance, I mean any spots that are a little streaky, or you notice that there's not quite enough coverage. Try moving a little bit of the product to that spot, because it's not fully dry yet. You might be able, instead of having to get more product, you can just move it around. And then you'll also want to check to make sure that it matches your neck, because that'll be a good indication that you need a different color. And that's why I say, when you get your foundation, do it along the side of your neck, or if your hand does match your face, you can do it on your hand. But check to make sure the color on your back of your hand matches your face, otherwise you might get a really funky shade. And sometimes people do need 2 different shades of foundation. And this is because some people need a summer shade and a winter shade. I don't, because I don't go out in the sun all that much. I am very lazy. I like to stay inside. I go outside occasionally, but then when I go outside, I burn. I don't tan. I am clear. So yeah. But yeah, that is how you apply foundation. And of course, you don't want to go just with foundation. You want to make sure you do at least blush, or you could do some bronzer. And I will be going over that after I do my powder foundation video. And I hope this was somewhat helpful. It's not really all that difficult to do. Foundation itself isn't all that difficult. You mostly just have to put it on. Remember, do your concealer first, do your moisturizer, and then your concealer, and then your foundation. That's the order you want to go in. All right, if you like this video, go ahead and thumbs up. If you want to see more content, go ahead and click subscribe. Go ahead and leave any questions or comments down below, and I'll get to you as soon as I can if you have any questions or comments. All right, I will see you next time. Bye.